Morning, everyone. Afternoon, everyone. Stand banana, yeah, I like it. Yeah, I get that. Good day, then you don't have any problems there. Just say good day, everyone. Hi, Daryl. I just noticed your name. Yeah, if you're new here, welcome and all that. It's a trading room. Basically, it's a forum. We discuss stuff, trade ideas, strategies, all have our input, etc. Yeah, so as you know, you can post there, or you can, if you want to chat, you can unmute and, well, talk, basically.
Morning. Happy to be here. First time trading, first time learning to trade. So yeah, I'm happy. Thanks.
Good stuff. I just want to mention, this is basically a sort of a trading forum. So I'm assuming you've done the platform training. You had to operate the platform. That's a major point. And yeah, you do know some basics, what a lot size is, the difference between human shares and currencies and indices and commodities and that sort of thing. Okay. If you're completely new, you might get a little bit overwhelmed, but we'll see how it goes anyway.
All right, thanks.
Okay, 9:30, we can get started. Obviously, I've got CHF JPY up here, trade idea that went out. Yeah, I think it went out to the mailbox. Went out to everybody. I posted on my quick trade WhatsApp group. Okay, so the entry was at 17, round about those levels, not exact. I'm just wondering if you're getting at 31, the difference is 14 pips. I think it's a bit late to jump in now if you're not in. Remember the risk reward, those figures are based on this entry figure here. It'll make a big difference who enter now. That will obviously go up and the reward, sorry, the risk will go up and the reward will go down. Just make sure if you do enter, you do a risk reward calculator, which is down here, position size calculator. Daryl, anybody there don't have it, quite easy to get hold of. Go to the live chat and the technical support area will download onto your laptop. Okay, so that's just by the by. Okay, you do need it because volume is absolutely essential. So if you do chase it now, which I think is a little bit late to be honest, I'd rather wait for a pullback if it occurs and chasing it now, because as I say, that will reduce quite a bit and that will increase quite a bit. In fact, we can do it to show you what I mean by that. Probably not a bad idea to start with. We're going to enter one now. We use the same stop loss, which is 144.55. And what's the TP? 146.29, 146.29. And then we click on that. See, there you are. You get a reward not of above 1.5. It's a 1-to-1 risk reward. And look at that. It's 117 compared to 119. So always check that. That clearly it's the ship has sailed. Okay. Rather nice if you're on board of my head, but anyway, there it is. Okay, got it. Well, I have no problem getting too cute myself. Okay. No problem. Okay, so bottom line is, if you haven't got in there, too late to chase. Okay, you're doing quite well. What a pleasure, by the way. Hey, we've had a terrible couple of weeks, so don't jump the gun, Roger. But so far, this is at least something. Okay, CHF JP. Sorry, just to look at a couple of past trades. Sure, where is it now? Just a second. Okay, CAD CHF. We've got a couple of guys want to go long, a couple of guys want to go short. 57.88. Darryl obviously lost his music. Where are we now? CHF. CHF. Right, that's not doing too badly if you went short. So these guys come in, let them in. Okay, yeah, 67.88 was the entry. So clearly it's over 50 pips in profit. Isn't it correct? By 145.17, correct. 146.29. Let's check on this one again. Why? What's wrong with it? CHF JPY by 145.17. I'll go through that. 145.17. Where's the problem? Maybe I'm missing something. Sorry, Connie, what's the problem? Okay, we'll move on. Okay, CAD CHF. I think we can start modifying the stop loss to protect. If you took the, obviously you took the long, well, hang on in there, you might be stopped out actually, yeah. If you took the long, you'd have been stopped out. So the long didn't work out, the short clearly is. And so if you went short, modify your stop loss. Where can we modify it to? Make it 67.80. Actually make it 67.70. Then you'll build in some profit, whatever happens, and it's a nice long distance away from the particular price, market price at the moment. So it's a win-win situation. Okay. That's what you mean. No, it's 120 pips away. 145.17, 146.29. That's 120. Yeah, 122 pips away. No, it's correct. Just go back to that showing me. $145.1, call it 1.8, and then 144.54 and TP 146. There's a TP 29. There we are. On 45.18, on 44 point, that's wrong. 144. So just give me a moment, try and get this right. 54. I don't know why it's doing that. 144.54. That's better. 173 is fair enough. 87 bucks, like it says on there. Okay, so that's fine. Knock that off. Knock that off. Okay, right. So let's move on. As I say, CAD CHF, like I just mentioned, those who went on the short side should be smiling now. And yeah, modify your stop to protect, like I mentioned. Okay. Change it.
Connect.
So I'm just going to knock just mute you all for a second. I'll it there in the background. If you want to speak, please just remind me to unmute. Okay, where are we? Okay, the Dow Jones, I think most guys stopped out in the profit, or they took their profit or whatever. That wasn't too bad on the micro, that is. The NAS, I think it's just hanging on in there at the moment. Yeah, it's just hanging on in there at the moment, so let that run. That's the micro, that's the EJ one. Yeah, let's have a look at a couple of EJ ones at the moment. Where we've got now, the 4th and the 5th today. Okay, well, no, that's all we got. Okay, all right. So, any trade ideas, or should we move on? Out of the way. Okay, any trade ideas? We've got a couple. You can look at CHF JPY. We've done that. GB, yeah, interesting one. I'm going to look at that as well. GBP USD. The dollar seems to be holding at 101.50. There's been a lot of discussion. Will it get back a little bit further? Etienne reckons it could come back to 100.6. The dollar is not that popular at the moment, and gold is still continuing up. Remember, gold is the fear factor, and people obviously run to that. We discussed the fear factor many times in the trading room here, and that gold seems no sign of abating at the moment. So I still think the dollar is going to remain depressed as a result of it. So if you're going to go the US dollar, GBP US dollar, you might be, let's take this out of the way. You might be pushing your luck a bit there, to be honest. There's a bit of resistance there. I get that. It might get a pull back, like on the gold. We thought it might pull back a bit, which it did, about $3-4 before it resumed its upward trend. If you think the dollar is going to continue in its weak mode, which I personally do, I'm not sure I'd be shorting this. I take your point completely, because it crossed my mind, Lorenzo. It's because it's 125. It seems to be holding. It is pretty high. But I don't think it's too much about the pound. It's more about the dollar at the moment, as mentioned. And if I go to the economic calendar, I'll copy and paste for a moment. 10:30 is the PMI is coming out. So that might have an effect on the pound. So on that being the situation, I wouldn't jump in, buy it or sell it at the moment. 10:30, which is in about an hour's time, we're getting a funding coming out, and the dollar weakness, it could push up further. So I would leave that alone. I think the long is more probable for what we just discussed there, but I wouldn't do either at the moment because, I say, the fund is coming out just now. What I'm going to do is just copy and paste as normal. I know Daryl's new here. There might be one or two others fairly new. Don't forget, just give me a minute so I don't do a wrong button job. Okay, there's a chat line. Copy, paste it if you haven't got it. Keep an eye on it. Economic fundamentals have taken on a far bigger importance at any time in my trading past. So you need to keep an eye on it. You don't want to be jumping in just as a funding comes out, because you may get lucky, you might get unlucky. And past record, I don't know if it's me, I usually get unlucky. It's a choice between heads or tails. If I choose tails, the bloody eggs come up. So it's not so lucky. So just bear that in mind. Okay. Also, we talk a lot about the dollar index. I'm going to copy and paste that for you as well. And whilst I'm at it, I'm going to put my number on. Roger, trading support. Please use the WhatsApp. Don't call me. It gets hell of a busy it needs to be called. I'll call you afterwards on the other. Sorry, I talk at the same time. 3, 1. That's correct. Yeah. Okay. Right. That's the WhatsApp number. A couple of caveats on that. If you're in the demo only, please don't call me. I'm not interested in assisting on a demo, only on a live. If you've got less than $50 or 500 Rand, I can add no value. I can't help you. You're clearly undercapitalized, and your chance of success, well, are very, very small indeed, because you don't have enough Tom, basically. But if you have above that, you will get a signal and you can WhatsApp me. If you've got 2.5 grand or $150, whichever currency you've got account is in, just please let me know and I'll upload you to the VIP group where you get basically more signals, if the signals are there. Other people saying, why am I not getting more signals? Because we don't have any that we think is okay. And we push them a little bit and then they don't do too well, clearly. Always try and remember, use a bit of common sense and think a little bit. Nobody's going to send something to you for the sake of it. Okay, so there we are. We've had, I'll be honest with you, quite a tough 2 weeks. I'm not trying to make excuses here, but I don't think it's my fault or your fault, anybody's fault. It's just been extreme jumping around, fundamental worries out there going on. So yeah, so we're being a little bit circumspect at the moment. Equity management is vital. Get yourself a position size calculator. For goodness sake, do the maths. If you can't do the maths, don't trade, because you can't trade without knowing the basic arithmetic involved. Exposure, volumes. You remember you're in a high risk, high return, hopefully high return, derivatives, which are leveraged instruments. So just keep an eye on your equity management. Yeah, I would do. Went up 0.5%, instead of 0.25% expected. So clearly, NZD jumps, yeah. The journos would be right in this case. I would agree with journos. In this case, I agree. Yeah, and well, very much a disciplined approach, near all times, but particularly now. Absolutely. Do I see downside? Absolutely. I think this is just a bit of an emotional jump, or the thing comes off. The next thing is, should we short it now? Everybody's looking for a precise time to do it. Can't give you that. Nobody can. The overall picture, overall viewpoint, I can state, downside is the name of the game. This market is incredibly overcooked for the underlying fundamental economic problems that exist worldwide at the moment. We've borrowed too much. Sorry, I'm saying it again. We've borrowed too much. Now it's time to pay the piper. And unfortunately, it's going to come, I think, when it happens, a big smack on the downside. Okay, so be careful very much at the moment. Okay, very jittery. That's why you quite like to say gold. A lot of people are going to gold at the moment because, oh dear me, it's not pretty out there. Okay, so there it is. I would leave it all alone in a nutshell. We can look at NZD for a moment, right? Look at any, just happened to be the next on the list because it happened to be there. I'll be very careful at the moment as it jumps on the release. Might calm down, anything could happen. So let the dust settle on that. I've got a few what we call the EJ ideas coming up. So we'll start off with CHF JPY. We'll go to buy anyway. So stick to EUR AUD. Let's have a quick look at this one. EUR AUD. We've got to say crypto. Yeah, well, don't have crypto. It's not interesting. EUR AUD. Okay. Right. Is that in the buy zone? Clearly, it's above all the moving averages that clear it's in the buy zone. So we need to buy it. Let's look at the hour one. Ship or sell. Okay. This is one you need to be in, what's the time now? 9, 8, 7 o'clock this morning. If you took it 7 o'clock this morning, you'd be smiling. So too late to chase, but it does look good for the principle we've talked about many times. That seems to be working out. EUR JPY, I had down as a buy. Let's just quickly check on that one. Go to the daily. Clearly it's a buy because it's above all the moving averages. So we go to 1 hour. Not yet, because it's not above the 10 times 1 hour moving average. So we'll leave that one, but keep an eye on it. GBP. Second, GBP AUD. Clearly a buy zone, obviously a buy zone. I'm a little bit worried somebody's coming out of +10, but anyway, We'll have a look at the hourly one and ship against sale. It should be in at 7 o'clock this morning. Video, get up early, guys. GBP, JPY, but the system's working. That's more to the point. It's working. That's what I like. Oh, you're right. Well done, Morris. Okay, good man. Okay, GBP, JPY, clearly a buy. Go to the 1 hour. Not yet. It popped its head up, but it didn't close. Okay, so we've got to keep an eye on that one. Come back to it, make a note of it. If in opening at 10 o'clock, it opens above there, we'll grab it. Please remind me to keep an eye on it. I'll put an asterisk down here, but I might miss. Here's the possibility. The other ones not. Ship sailed, unless you're on board like Marius. Well done. Okay, so those are a couple of suggestions I've come up with. And yeah, so CAD CHF is a winner. Yeah, so we've got a couple out there, not too bad at the moment. Okay, yeah, so there it is. CHF JPY would have been good on both. I think just make sure the buy clearly. Well, we put a short out there. Yeah, we can't chase it as yet. So if you wanted, if you're not in it and chase it on the EJ strategy, have a look at the 10 o'clock. It's in only 10 minutes time. If it opens above there, which doesn't look like to happen, you can chase it on that basis. So just remind me to have a look, and then the guys who missed it can chase it on the strategy we talked about of the last few days. Okay. Any questions? Anyone to chat about? If not, and anybody in here, probably Daryl, Doreen doesn't really understand what we're talking about. Benelli, anyone fairly new, we're talking about the EJ strategy. I'll take a few minutes to go into it. Okay. Any questions? Well, not really, no. Pull back a bit, it's up and down for you. That's going to happen, but I still think it'd be better. I think below 20 should be looking at it on the buy, on the not the sell, the buy. That's 31 on the buy. We need to get about 20 on the buy to get a chance of entering, or better, obviously. Clearly, or better. But it's pulling back. Keep an eye if you're not in. But we might have another bite the cherry when the clock changed to 10 o'clock. Okay. Any questions? Anyone not sure? Anyone wonder what the heck I'm talking about, basically? USD as a buy. Look at it down as well. Euro USD as a buy. Indecision so far today means every time it pulls back, the buyers are coming in, so ticking your defense, if that's the right word. Not getting going, so we'll go to the 4-hour chart. Let's have a look, we get a clearer picture. Consolidating, in my opinion, before we get another move up. So I'm supporting the buy, but just wondering where you should. Well, maybe a bit of psychological nerves coming in on this one. It might come back a bit to get a bit of a price, but anyway, whatever happens, it's sideways at the moment. I think you might be jumping the gun a little bit to go in now, but overall, without even looking at the charts, I'm supporting Etienne there on a weaker dollar going forward and a stronger euro going forward. Do you want to jump in now, or do you want to try and get a better price, or what? Vicky will only look at that this afternoon, but I still believe in the sell. I believe the market's going to come down, and if you stopped out in the Microsoft, well, I still think it's yeah, I agree. I agree, but not much point looking at it now because it's clearly not open. Okay, so euro dollar. Any comments? Anyone want to dive in now, or do you want to just don't really want to make it consolidating? I'm just waiting for pull back before it goes further up. I'm not even remotely disagreeing on the buy, but if we can get, let's say, 30 pips cheaper, and it bounces round about where I got the cross there, then I'd be far more supportive. You want to go in now, okay? Just a second, write a few of these down. Down, NZDAUD. I'm not sure about that Fardy. We've just had that Fundy coming out. There might be a bit of a cooling off period before jumping the NZD. We'll have a look at it anyway. Buy. Certainly have a look at it, and I presume the Dow to sell. Microsoft, we'll look at it later on, but there's no doubt about it. If you get the right entry, it's a sell's the name of the game. Okay, risk reward. Okay, you want to get in there, do you? Well, what do you want, Lorenzo? Market or a better price? What do you want to do? Because I'm just trying to look to see whether I'm doing this. I want to get it down here. I want to get it below here. It's going to have 100 pips, okay? Let's go to the weekly for a target. Oh, look at this getting in the way. Yeah, we get a target, all right. No problem there. We get a target right up there. This is causing me a little bit of jip here, but we'll put it up anyway. Bit of a longer term one. Go back to the weekly. Take it up to here. 1.1190. A little bit, but well, maybe 1.12 actually. If it gets that far, I'd really like to get to the round figure. Okay, clearly that's a very good risk reward. 185 bucks a micro. What is that immediately telling you? It means a lot of guys who've got small accounts won't be able to take it. You don't want to be risking more than 10%, and even 10% is high of your account. Remember, the international norm is 2%, but that's for the guys who've got capital. So 10% should be the maximum. It's up to you, but I'm suggesting that. So 10%, that's 1,800. So you need really 2 grand or more in your account. Plus, even if you've got 2 grand, make sure you've got enough free margin. Do not go in if you've got 2 grand, you open 3 trades, and you've got very little free margin. You will get margin called in the up and down, and they'll always go up and down. As you can see, there's no such thing as a straight line unless a Fundy suddenly comes out, and then you're going to get that straight line, that knee-jerk reaction. Otherwise, it's going to go up and down, and there's nothing worse than getting margin called, and the trade is correct. But bear that in mind. There you are. If you like that, there you are. That's the trade for you if you want to go to that market. I personally, I'm going to sit the sidelines on this one. I like the long. I'm going to get a better price, but I'm just going to hang fire for a moment. I might get a better price. I think there'll be a little bit of profit taking pullback on that 100-day moving average, which gives an opportunity to get in a slightly better price. Okay. But if you want to take it, there are the figures. Any takers on this one? Any takers? If you say yes, I get 2 yeses, I'll write this down to trading idea. And if it works out, the accolade will go to Lorenzo. Keone, are you going, Lorenzo? Mine is going. Okay, I'll put it up. All right. EUR, USD, a buy. What was it again? 1.0953. Okay, that's fine. Right. There we go then. Okay, you all got it. I'm looking it up there. So there it is. Put the price up here, see what's going on. Okay, so that's fine. If you like that. Okay, the Dow's the next one on the list. Probably looking for shorts at the moment. The 100 days seem to be holding. Do I see it's a weekly chart? So that's fair enough. A bit of resistance or support there. Okay, short resistance. Daily. trying to break through. There's going to be some noise there. So if we look at it, we've got to have a wide stop. We're on the micro, it's not a problem there. Put it up there. Yeah, we need a wide stop right about these levels here. Pre-discussion. Yeah, I could bounce it. I have no problem with that. No problem with that. Okay, so if you want to do this, this is the sort of what you want to have on it. A short. Put the guy up there. Put slightly out of this guy here. Slightly higher still. I really want a wide stop on this because it is very volatile. And with a micro, you can afford it. Okay. And the TP, put it down here. 3.2, call it 3.2500. 3.2500. And there you are. Remember, that's the micro. The normal Dow, your risk would be 750 Rand per 0.01. So if you can afford, that's great. If you can't afford that, make sure you've got the micro, as in micro, up there. Remember, I'm doing a little 1 hour Zoom on the micro today at 1 o'clock. Actually, I'll paste it for in case you want it. I've got what the idea is now. I had it written down somewhere. Where is it? Oh, it is now. Just give me a second. Why is it thinking of that? What the bloody thing is now? Anyone remember it? I had it written down. Can't remember what it is now. Anyway, it's the micro. I think it's posted out. Yes, right, posted out on there. Just a second. Give me a moment here. Get all this crap out of the way. Just a second. Because I can't find it. I'll find it now. Where the bloody hell is it? I can't find it. Where is it? This is getting my nerves now. Here we are. Now, fine, it's just on the computer, my thing doesn't scroll properly. So and every time I try and go to the sidebar, it just jumps half a mile. Quite irritating. I think that's the correct one. I think that's the correct one, the micro one. There you are. Anyway, so sorted. It's easy to scroll on the phone, but I find some problems here on the. Okay, moving along. Dow Jones, yeah. So that's the risk reward. Please, as I mentioned, if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't do it. You can't trade when you don't know what's going on. You must understand the difference from standard lots, micro lots, etc. I'm doing a micro presentation at 1 o'clock to try and get people to understand the difference between the normal and the micro. And the only difference actually is quite simple. The contract size on the normal is 10 and this one is 1. And frustratingly, they don't seem to get that differential. Clearly 10's a bigger figure, but a lot of people seem to be having problems with that. So I'm doing a Zoom at 1 o'clock, trying to get that fundamental aspect through, so you're not going in and overexposing. You have to basically understand that. Okay. Okay. Right. Got it. Okay. A couple of people sent me WhatsApp. I can't reply. One of the guys just joining. I can't reply to WhatsApp when I'm in a trading room. Well, I can, but it just interferes. Just bear that in mind. Okay, Dow Jones. Anybody want this one? Sullivan, I saw you going on the WhatsApp. I'm in the trading room, so I can't read it, look at it, and reply to it, and especially not voice messages, all that with the text. So I hadn't got time to look at it. I'm in the trading room now. So anything you want to query, please do it in the trading room. If not, I can only respond after 11 o'clock because I'm actually here. Okay, Dow Jones. Anyone want to do this? You prefer the NAS? All right. Anybody want to do this? We'll go to the NAS in a moment. Manda likes it. Okay, there's the figures. Anybody else want to do this? Go for it. Okay, good point. YouTube. Okay, so there's a couple of people. Give me a moment to just write this down. What are we getting at? 3,340. And it's 78 bucks. 3,3775. Okay, see how that goes. Has come back, has it pulled back? Just before we go on, I just want to just make sure everyone's got that. You've got to be on it. People do it. That's it. Always keep a pen and paper handy. Just remember a query you might have, or to write something down, or whatever. What's CHFJPY? Did it pull back? Oh, bloody hell, it's pulled right back. That's the name of the game, mate. Actually, to be honest, it's really now start getting the nerves. Just getting no follow through in all of them. Does well, pulls back, and then nobody start wondering what the hell's going on. Now, yeah, it's a better price if you still like it. It's just shut. It's getting going around every decreasing circle. That is, it's frustrating me. It must be frustrating the hell out of you guys. Yeah, it's a better price. You want to do it. Yeah, look at this. What we're on now, a 1 hour chart. Look at that. See what I mean? This is making trading an absolute nightmare. So it's just getting to me a bit. Sorry, that sort of rant there. It's actually really starting to get to me. Are we going to Durban or are we going to Limpopo? Mate, we've got our mind up. You're in Joburg, basically. Okay, so it's a better price. You want to do it, yeah. Biggest question: do you want to do it? If you do, it's a better price. Sorry, Anna Marie, you want to say something?
Yes, please, Roger. The ADP non-farm employment change at 14.15. Can we expect a reaction like we had yesterday afternoon?
Could do, but it's not as important. It's a precursor to the jobs report coming out on Friday, and I don't know why they have it because it doesn't really help towards guessing the jobs report on Friday. It's the poor brother of the jobs report. There's so much skittishness, so much emotional nerves out there. It might have an over-the-top reaction. Otherwise, it's not that big a deal. But what I'm worried about now is it's run at the moment by total emotion. There's no logic whatsoever. So normally speaking, it's like the weekly jobless claims used to have a 2-star in the past. It's just people overreacting through fear and nerves. What that reaction is going to be, I have no clue. But just be aware of it more than you would have, let's say, 2 or 3 years ago, if you were trading then. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, pleasure. Yeah, okay, fair enough, Eddie. Okay, fair enough then. So yeah, sorry, Anne-Marie, just be aware for emotional rather than logical reasons. It has import, but it's not that big a deal in comparison to the big one coming up on Good Friday. And even that could be a little bit of a damp squib, as mentioned, because most markets are either closed or half open, and the liquidity will be fairly small. Morning, welcome back, Zeph. Well, no,
Zeph is here. Zeph is here because the US dollar is crashing. Yeah, Zeph is here.
Yeah, it is. It's just it's moving to gold. Yeah, yeah, Zeph. Well, actually, are we doing great? No, we're not. Well, we had a bloody terrible 2 weeks. You haven't missed anything if you stay away. Probably did yourself a favour. It's trying to get a go on these markets now. Or you have to have skill and you have to have logic and you have to have the experience. When it's run by complete emotion, it's your guess is as good as mine. Sorry, I missed that. What was that about the US dollar again, Ken? I'm giggling. I'm obviously missed the joke. What was that about? Crushed or whatever? I missed that. Okay, never mind. Okay, so yeah, if you like it, you're getting a better price. Simple as that, if you want it. Okay. NZD, AUD. I'm a little bit nervous in New Zealand at the moment. I'm just waiting for dust to settle. After that jump on the expectation, where NZ, where's it? NZ? AUD, NZD, sorry, wrong way around. AUD, NZD. Yeah, I think it might consolidate and settle down a bit. Good to the daily because it obviously shot down. That's fundamental, clearly. I wouldn't be playing around with that. Where do you get it? Live chat. Go live chat, tech support. Please, guys, don't trade if you can't work out the correct volume compared to the balance. You can't budget, you can't go shopping, basically. Where are you on holiday? Yeah, get it, please. If you haven't got it, get it. So where are you on holiday, Zeph? Probably not Spain. Being Portuguese. Portugal. Well. Okay, anyway, AUD-NZD. I'm definitely not keen. You might think there's a further downside. I think could be a little bit of a consolidation, maybe a bit of profit-taking bounce before it continues any specific direction. Clearly, I'm very nervous for the markets at the moment. CFF JPY is a classic example. It just can't make its mind up. It was doing just nicely, got a trade idea out. I thought it was a good one. It was doing beautifully. Now look at it. See what I mean? And will it jump back up from here? Lord knows, I don't know. Do I agree with the trade? Well, I wouldn't have said if I didn't agree. I do think if you're getting a price, I still like it, very much so. But I'm going in, shall we say, a bit more, I don't know, wary than I normally would be. Always remember, it suspends rational and it gets emotional. Be very careful. I suppose you all heard all of the news, the Trump trial coming up. There's a classic area of emotion, not logic. I mean, whether it's morally and culturally wrong what he did, it's still not a felony. So how can you have a misdemeanor when there's no felony in the first place? No way they think it's immoral or not. That's just personal cultural taste. I just think it's still not a felony. So how the hell are you doing it? So it's clearly nothing to do with the law. It's all politically motivated. And that's where it's getting out of hand at the moment. Same sort of thing with the market. It's more emotion rather than actual logic. Okay. Okay, right. So there it is. Dow, and we looked at that one. Have I missed anybody? I don't think so. One we were to look at was, I had a little bit of an asterisk beside it. Where down it? GBP JPY. Quickly check if we can get something here. Daily, so buy, well, continuing downwards. We can't do this one. Could you allow that? No, we can't. Oh, I've got another one here, USD CHF. Try that one, put the daily. CHF, clearly a sell area. What's it doing on the 1 hour? What about that? EJ1, what do you think of that one? And it's holding, as you can say, on the 10-hour moving average. What do you think of that one? Using the EJ one. Are we good for it? If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll explain in a moment. Let's do the trade first. Everyone understand what I'm on about? Anyone like this one? Good, because it's under your name, so you should do. Okay. Anybody like it? Etienne, I have to say I like it. There you are. 50 pip support, 90 bucks a micro. Okay, let's do that one then. This is, I'm just filling a separate piece of paper, separate journal. I'm keeping, right, it's the 5th thing, yeah. So getting in at 90.50. And TP will be at 50 pips. Make it 91 the TP. Don't worry about the T. Don't worry about, sorry, 91 the SL. Don't worry about the TP. It's a sell. Okay. And the time is 10 past. And let's see what's the date. Was it 05, 04, 23. All right, see how that goes on the EJ one. Okay, got a fairly quite couple of minutes. I'll quickly explain what we're talking about here. Any questions you can ask? Because the emotional air is running around, we've come up with an idea, strategy where we purely use momentum rather than anything else. No Fibonacci, no trend lines, no anything else. It's purely momentum. So we pick something, if we've done just here. Let's pick something randomly, like the US dollar CAD. We put it on the day and we see, is it above these moving averages or is it below? It's neither, so you'd leave it. So you can find one that is dollar yen. That is in the sell zone, so we're looking to sell it. We go to the 1 hour. It's got to be about below, sorry, this one here. If it's below that, you can take it as a sell. The only problem is a bit of support down there, which is seen to battling to break through. But on the principle we've been talking about, you could take that as a sell. No more, no less. Okay. It came about because momentum seems to be, emotional momentum seems to be quite powerful. Even if you think it's overheated, like the NAS and the Dow, on this principle, we took them both in the long, and it worked out quite nicely. We can't sell it on this principle on the NAS or the Dow. We'll come back to that in a minute. What about that? So we can't do the NAS or the Dow on this principle because it's basically still in the buy zone. We want to sell it. But this one is in the sell zone, is below the 1 hour times 10 moving average. So if you like it, you can do on that basis. What we're searching for here is a strategy. Hopefully by tomorrow we'll have a recap, and each week we'll have a recap and see how it looks purely on the chart reading as explained. Okay, Amanda likes it. Who wants to do this one? Do you want to do this one? 50 pips, so it's going to be out the way. 13191, which is this level here. So it's right back up there. It hadn't seemed to have much indication of getting there. Let's look at the 4 hour. Where's this area here? It's round about that, so it's holding on the 4 hour. Where's the daily? That's right out of the way. So it's 131.90. It's above day high. So if you like it, do this one. Remember, we're after pips, so don't go into big. We're just seeing if we can get some pips, and if we can get net pips in our favor each week, then we can start adding volumes to it. So Karen's going to give it a go. So let's write that down on the other one. Where is it here? The journal. There's the journal. Oh, here we are. So right from me. Okay, just a second. What's the price? 42. And it's going to be 131.92 US dollar JPY as sell. Okay. And at 10.16, don't forget, go check if I remember. 10:30, see what's happening with the pound. Okay, let's see how those go. All right. Anything else? Okay, right. Okay. Any questions, guys? Jeff, you come a little bit new, as well as Daryl and a few guys. This is something we evolved actually on Friday last week, where the two separate trade ideas, you can do both of them on the longer term in the normal way, or purely momentum trade. In fact, probably better than EJ actually. Call it a momentum trade, probably easier to remember. So yeah, it's purely on going with the momentum. You look at the days in the buy or sell, not in the neutral, and it's either side you want to go with that momentum. And the way to get your entry, if it's above, and if you're going long or below, if you're going short on the 1 hour, on the maroon 10 times moving average. Okay, that's what it is in basics. Okay. Hope we're all good with that. 50 pips stop, which means it's 90 rand a micro is your risk. And if you're doing the indices on the same principle, the Dow or the or the NAS, it'll be 100 pips. I know the norm is 200. We're using 100 particular strategy. Okay, talk about that. Let's go to the NAS. Anyone questions on that? To clear it up and do it. Don't forget, there's two. I post on here just now, a micro and a normal. What's the difference? I'll go through it again at one, just a reminder. Look at the specification, left click, right click, and then left click on specifications. And then you'll see the contract size is 10. Clearly, if you go to the micro, right click on there, and it's 1. So what's the difference? What's the difference between 1 and 10? If you don't know that, get a maths course. Simple as that. Okay, so that's why the micro, if you go on the normal one, you've got to multiply by 10 your stop, your risk, basically. Okay, so the NAS, right? We're going to look at the NAS. Some prefer to shorten the NAS. Let's go to the daily. Let's go to the weekly, where you can put the stop up here. Wide stop up there somewhere, right out of the way. It's really out of the way. That may be a little bit closer. Something like a 330 odd pip stop, which is easily affordable on the micro. So anybody want to do a short on the NAS before I go to the RR? R1. Remember Arnold Chaps car hire, not sells cars. I want you to be happy. Very good question, Seth. Just think it's overcooked. We're worried about the market overall. No more, no less. It's bullish at the moment. I quite agree. Let's look on the 1 hour. Might be a buy on the 1 hour strategy notes below there. Very good question. Simple reason is we think it's getting the overcooked level. We think you want to be on board the calm before the storm where it's going to fall off. No more, no less. But on the chart, isn't it? So you're buying the pullbacks. We just think it's overcooked. So no more, no less. I think I do actually be honest. I think the dollar's going to consolidate and weaken a bit further. And even so, it's going into gold. It's a strong one by the pullbacks. Having said that, I just think these markets are overcooked, and yeah, we might have a little bit more of a rise, but expecting downside. But yeah, that's no more, no less. But clearly, it's in the buy zone. If you feel nervous on that, don't do it. But if you do think it's overcooked, we might get some more downside. Do it, but do it small. Yeah. It will definitely not be sent out as a trade idea. They will ask the same questions. It's still a short hold on to it, but I think this is just overcooked. So there we are. I think so. That's the whole point. I think it's just yeah, overbought, overcooked. Yeah. It just needs a trigger. Once you get a trigger, I think we can have a big fall. Just wait for that damn trigger. So yeah, I'll have a look at it. If you do like it, if you don't, clearly then you can do a buy if you want. Where do I forget where I put it now? Wasn't there since August. Remember that hadn't been there since August. No, fact, tell a lie. When was it last there? Yeah, 8th of August. What is it now? April, 8 months ago it was there. So that's fair enough. TP, we can put it down here somewhere, probably further. We'll start off with this one. Make it 12.5. But yeah, I hear about momentum. Totally agree on that one, Zeph. But it's only 40 bucks a micro. Maybe try that out. If you like a long, I can put that up. But that's the reason. Fair enough, you could well be right. Who's the next to pull the trigger? Probably the US. What's the next level of resistance? Below that will be at the 50-day moving average. After that, the 200. And after that, right down to maybe 11,000 if it ever gets there. I think it's going to get down there, but maybe again the next month or so, I don't know. But this is the eye of the hurricane. Okay. But Zeph's going to wait for a pullback to go along again. Could well do, but yeah, we could, who knows? Okay, there it is. Okay. See how it works out. You're doing it. I'll put that down then. Uh, 44 round. Okay, see how that goes anyway. Okay. Yeah, I know we might come back a bit, but if you go for a long, it pulls back enough. Even the guys who went short make a profit. It'll be a nice, happy days for everyone. That'd be all right. If we bounce off there, we should our TP, so we'll both be all right. So that's fine. Okay, the gold's still marching. That's interesting. So that might have a bit of a negative effect. Look at that, nearly 2030. What's that dollar Swiss franc doing? Well, trying to come right. Trying to come right. CHFJPY. No, it's doing the exact opposite. Unreal, eh? Doing beautifully. Up, you know, it's about 20-30 pips in profit just now, and then doing this. I think it's going to hold upwards. If you haven't taken this one, and the round figure, I think it's going to hold. I'm not sure what is going to push it further down, but I still think it's okay. But there we go. Bloody difficult, eh? Bloody difficult. What else can you do, Farley? Yeah, I'm chuckling in empathy there. What can you do? Okay. What else looking at? Just look at a couple of EUR AUD. Now, that ship sells. No point looking at any further. Could well do that, Labuana, and I certainly would not disagree with you. Yeah, could well do that. Trust me, if the big shot analysts are shaking their heads, then you can't blame ourselves for shaking ours. Okay. Okay, helps to look at Brent. It's continuing now. I think it's plateauing old Brent there. Oh, yes, right. Somebody wanted to mention it. Can you give me a couple minutes to read this out to you? Just get quite a few reports. I think this might be of interest. Start yawning or saying, please, Roger, no more, if it starts to get a bit on the boring side. Just put it up here so I can read it better. OPEC decision to, it was actually yesterday, I meant to read out yesterday, so it's a day old, but never mind, it still applies. OPEC decision to threaten progress with inflation. This past Sunday, 2nd of April, Saudi Arabia and other OPEC producers announced a fresh oil production cutback of roughly 1.16 million barrels per day, which came as a surprise to many and was predicted to immediately drive up prices and hinder the ongoing efforts of many nations to contain inflation. On Monday, 3rd April, oil prices strongly increased, opening with a bullish gap of more than 6% as a direct consequence of the changes which will supposedly take place next month. Very important. Didn't go up then. It was announced they would be doing it, but next month. I'm not sure the date. It's going to be doing it in May anyway. So it hasn't been, the cutback hasn't, the cutback hasn't taken place and will only take place next month in on OPEC. In the meantime, the US, the UK, and the EU, among others, are all fighting to minimize upward pressure on prices, so OPEC's unexpected action couldn't have come at a worse moment. So I was touching with, like in this country, inflation, higher prices, it's a battle trying to control it. This sudden increase on decrease. I'm getting completely confused here. Sorry, so back to front here. Cut back on oil production. Okay, so bring the price up, they're cutting back. So an unexpected cutback couldn't have come at a worse moment. The Biden administration has already strongly opposed it. When the Saudis ever listen to America, and said that it is not advisable. No kidding. Love it. Let's examine this. Let's examine this article. The cause potential outcomes for inflation and interest rates. OPEC follows through with its decision to cut supply next month. What caused OPEC to decide to reduce output? I'm not boring you, it's important. A concern that the current global financial crisis will dampen demand has partly led to oil prices falling last month. So the reduction of global demand has brought the price down to, well, where we brought it down to 70. Right, the lowest in 15 months. Crude oil eventually rebounded and hovering just around about the $80 mark. That's crude, not Brent. And at the same time, experts played down the likely additional measures of buying to bolster the market. Okay, so the move seems to be the group's way of getting ahead of this probable economic downturn recession, particularly in the US and large economies of Europe later this year, with the idea of trying to maintain oil prices above 80. I've been saying that there needs to be a fair trade-off between the consumer and the producer. Its decision was intended to support the stability in the oil market. As I said, 70 usually buy it because I think that OPEC aren't happy. Above 90, sell it because the consumer will not be happy. Between those sort of 80, 90 level seems to be stability expected, which keeps both people not happy, certainly in some sort of equilibrium. Part of the reason this has come as a surprise is that the announcement has come only one day before the OPEC conference. Okay, so they're shutting it out a little bit early. Remember, I talk about Palmov digressing here, and Lagarde and Bailey don't like to spook the markets. OPEC don't care. Okay. Members had previously indicated they would continue the current production strategy, meaning no further cutbacks, which is why the news has come out of left field. Surprising anyway. The reason for concern is that there's still a chance that other members of the organization will follow the lead of their peers and announce their voluntary reductions in the meeting too. The cut started in May and will reportedly go all the way through to the end of the year. Okay. Officials said that Iraq will cut its production by 200,000 barrels per day. UAE, United Arab Emirates, about 144K per day. Kuwait, 128K per day. Oman, about 40K. Algeria, 48K. And Kazakhstan, former part of the Soviet Union, now independent state, 78K per day. How does it impact inflation? Increasing oil prices eventually will obviously impact the cost of manufacturing and transportation, among other things. while they also allow lower consumer purchasing power. Inflation, the pace at which prices around the economy are increasing, is affected by the price of oil, clearly. It's a key point in economics. Okay. On the premise that there won't be a recurrence in price and energy price formed by Russian invasion of Ukraine, that's discounted news. Central banks have been anticipating a dramatic decline in inflation this year as a result of their persistent tightening of monetary policy to cool demand. Historically, higher oil prices have a large impact on the price of manufacturing and production and on the ongoing pricing of services, which is why there's a moderate association in the price of oil and the consumer price index, very much so. But a more significant correlation in crude and consumer price index, clearly because it affects the producers. Eventually, though, higher price producers lead to higher price for consumers. It usually takes a while to filter through. So what about interest rates? Interest rates affected. If oil price continue to rise at this point, the increase is prolonged enough, central banks across the globe will most likely become more cautious in their monetary policy decisions, i.e. increasing interest rates. The balance of lifting interest rates to cool demand versus sending their effect on economies into recession will become even more delicate. And the soft landing concept, which I've been on about, becomes more far-fetched than ever. I don't think it's going to happen. They can twiddle the figures, manipulate much they like, but clearly the soft landing is getting more and more unlikely. If OPEC succeeds in permanently driving up oil price, the effect will more likely than higher interest rates start having many implications on lowering demand in the economy, and that should have a sort of an area where they might actually have to start even lowering interest rates to make up for that. So rising interest rates do have an influence on the stock and bond markets, credit cards, personal loans, student loans, auto loans, and business loans, in addition to mortgages. Clearly, companies, both public and private, also face a high cost of operation. This happens. Stock price, company growth rates might also be negatively affected by great expenses and fewer business over time, which may help trigger recession. Okay, we've all talked about that. Just sort of wanted just to understand that. So I'll just minimize that out of the way. So clearly what we've been going on about is if interest rates can't do it, looks like OPEC will do it for you. Recession is on its way. That's what I think the pullback is like on the markets worldwide, such. Okay. All good. If it's a bit too fast, never mind. We discussed it many times, and most of it gets a lot of detail back to what we're saying. Higher oil costs will do the interest rates job for it. You don't have to raise it up because it will reduce demand simply because the cost, everything has to be transported and just price up. Okay. So again, the people on smaller salaries and struggling will be impacted the most, as always has been in history. Yeah, we have to watch it because it's not been implemented yet. It looks like it will be made. I don't know what date it is, but it's coming in May. GBP, half past, thank you for reminding. GBP composite 52.2, exactly as expected. Services less important, the PMI on it, but around about the same. So there's not much change there. So it came out as expected. And PMI in euro came out at 10, slightly low. Producer price index inflation slightly below, which is a little bit of a plus. That's not too bad. Okay, so there we are. Let's have a look now. CHF JPY. Did you go for Lublana? Because if you did, you'd be starting to see a bit of profit. It held around about the 149.90 mark. You might have got in on that. On the maybe on the sell might have got there, but the buy be slightly out due to the spread. So you should be in it now. I don't know if you took it, but start to come a little bit better the bounce. See what happens going forward. Good, well done. So you should be doing okay there. We also got out the euro dollar. I wasn't in favor, Lorenzo was, so I'll stay out of that one, but let's see if it does. I obviously hope you're correct. You're going for a buy at 1.0953. Well, exactly the same. Nothing much happening there. We did a momentum strategy or EJ strategy on the sell on the dollar yen and dollar Swiss franc. And that was at Got it here now. 50 on the Swissy, flat, same thing. 92 on the dollar yen. Got that completely wrong. 131.92. Where did that come from? Well, that was a stop loss, you Burke. The wrong way around, sorry. 131.92 is a stop loss. 131.42 EP. Oh, bloody hell, think about nothing happening. Exactly the same. So, there we are. Okay, the NAS, did it move in any direction? 15 minutes, didn't see any movement there. A little bit in favor. That was on the longer term view, which I got written down on this marked piece of paper. Here we are. 3080, about the same. Dow 340, and the Dow now is at put 2 pips in profit. Let's get a little excited. Okay, so those are the trades at the moment, either static or a couple of pips in profit. There we are. Gold is still using its rise. Yeah. Okay, great, guys. Don't forget, like I mentioned before, just as I remember to join every trading room, right click, go to save the template. Don't forget to save your charts. So if you do lose them, click on the save clearly. If you do lose them, just go to right click, templates, and choose the one you saved, and you'll be up and running. Don't forget to do that. It gets very busy for us if you come on the chat line, or the live chat, should I say, and start and ask us what I do now. It's quite time consuming. Save you the hassle, save us the hassle, just save your charts. If you do lose them, you're back in business. Okay. Right. Any questions, guys? Anything you want to look at? Anything we've talked about? And I've gone a little bit quick. That comes first. Just think of any, Kevin, write them down and see if we can sort them out and answer them. Okay. AUD, you want to do it for a long? That's fine. AUD daily. Wow, solid. Immediately, what does that tell you, guys? Immediately, I like it. That hit me like in the face, like a smack on the head. That's what you want. You want to get the situation, leap at you. That's done some serious leaping. So on what's been happening to the markets last 2 weeks, Farney, I think we should short this. What do you reckon? Just a joke. Right, rider support. Look at this support here. We can get it's a daily, yeah, stop loss down here. But yeah, I like it. Let's look at the weekly. Yep, or the weekly. Just make it a bit clearer. Weekly. Whoa, we haven't done that now. Better next edit. Zoomed out, eh? 4 hour. Yep, 1 hour, 15 minutes. Bit of indecision. I like it. Indecision or indecision? Yes, I like it. What do you think, guys? Well, you'll see where I'm coming from. Because that produce, that's the same. We're the same way as Solly there. Do you not see what I'm on about there? That should jump at you. And that's jumping at me big time. I like it, but the best I've seen for a while. So I think we should short it or not do it. That's when you know commentator's curse is ruling. But no, seriously, I like it. And we can do a risk reward, plenty. Let's just crunch it a bit more. Try and get this damn thing out of the way, still make it affordable. Yes, we can below these guys down here. And that was way back in November. Oh, it's even better. November was 5 months ago. Right. Yes, yes, yes again. Commentator skirt's going to hit me on this one, I'll tell you right now. There's a stop. 89.50. TP, where's it down there? TP, stop doing that. So I'll go on this thing instead. TP we can take up here. Make it straight 92. If it gets that far, get 92, 0.92. Major round figure, there we are. There we are. Steady risk reward, $100 a micro. My full support on that one. I'll write that down whether you like it or not. The host has got certain privileges. Write it down whether you like it or not. Well spotted. If it don't care if it doesn't come right, that's the motion. From a technical point of view, so that's the best I've seen in a while. Solid capital letters. And it's even not a bad stop either, covering it all. The only thing stuffed this up is sodding Murphy's Law.
Hey, Roger.
Yeah.
Yes, I see it actually. That's why I wanted a few pips actually. I saw that my risk and reward is I risk 69, and then in order to gain 106 actually, I wanted a few pips actually, but I'll see with yours actually.
Yeah, I'm going to put in a quick fib as well, taking it right back here. See if that helps our cause. Yeah, get it in precision engineering. Yeah, there we are. Doesn't really help a cause much, but I suppose that should be taken there and there. Doesn't really help a cause because it's sort of halfway between. But let's have a look at something else. The 4 hour we looked at, the weekly looked at. This is holding at the moment. So far, so good. Let's go back to on the daily. On the daily, no, you can't sell it because it's in the neutral zone. So you wouldn't do it. So I'll look at the hour if you like. But an hour it would have been a sell. Yeah, if it was in the sell zone, it's not in the sell zone because it hadn't had a full candle break below this guy. Yeah, so it's in the neutral, so it wouldn't work on the EJ or momentum strategy. Okay, so it's not a sell, it's a leave it alone on the EJ one. But yeah, what do you think, guys? And remember, if you get stopped out, it was there in November, which is 6 months ago. The only thing that's going to me, bugger that thing up is on a rational base, a sudden fundamental, on an irrational base, Murphy's Sod's Law. I'm just going to have to go to the boys. I drink too much tea, I'm afraid. Do you think any comments? Go for it. Yeah. Okay. Let's see now. Position size calculator. Because I will post on the group this one. Okay, what's the stop loss again? 89.50, 92. That's good enough. Maybe bring that down a little bit for the group because you'll probably pick up on that. So I'll do that then. Okay, right. Where were we? Yeah, that's fine. Just give me a moment, guys. Sorry. Ken likes it. Good man. I want a bit of support on this one. So if it goes wrong, I want to share the feelings with you there, Mr. Ken. Okay. Okay. Any questions, guys? Can I knock this off? Okay. Any questions? The CHF JPY not doing anything. CAD CHF is still doing okay. Did any guys still in this as a short? You should be. I certainly am. It's written down here as a short. Should be. I'd be modified, etc. Well, anyway. Okay, if you have, you have. Right. Any questions, please say. I don't want to spell out stuff if you already know the score. Yeah, I think that's about all we've got for the moment. Is the gold still marching? Yep, looks like it. Where's the next stop on gold? Probably around about, could even get there. Maybe 250, 260, it seems on the march, eh? Right, so at least that's some sort of instrument on how much fear is out there. That's how much fear is out there, which will make me continue with my attitude about shorting stocks rather than buying, which includes indices. The indices are part of stocks, as you already know. Okay, guys, right. Anything you'd like to look at? You wanted to mention Microsoft earlier on as a short. Depends what it opens up, but yes, I agree. Ignore this, guys. That was a glitch in the system. Take absolutely no notes of this. Yeah, I think this is going to be a short coming up. If you've already been knocked out in it and you're frightened of it, I would not blame you one instance, and I wouldn't blame you at all. But we want to stop out the way. Maybe it'll make it a little bit further. We've got plenty of downside potential. Let them get stopped out, like Farney was at 290 on the original trade and got very frustrated. And I completely agree with you on that. I would be intensely irritated as it did and it came off. So get it out of the way. About that's pushing it a bit. About 11. That right? About 11. Call it $12 a share risk, which is what's about 200 rand a share or 100 rand half a share. You get the idea. So you can look at it. We can. In the meantime, until we want to do it, just wants the levels. Don't think he's going to post it. Give me a second. I'll write the levels down. Simple enough. So I could do that in my mathematical head without referring. Where were we now? It's, yeah, got it. Good. Right, sorted. Okay. So yeah, I reckon that'd be quite good for later on as a short. The NAS is hovering a little bit above 13,000 and that's going to last. But if you feel it's another surge up, clearly you're going to be totally against this one. You might look to buy it if you believe in there's going to be another big push up on the NAS, which could well happen. But I think this is plateaued with a decent stop. The TP right down this sort of area here will get your risk reward. Okay. Right, when I rejoin at 4 o'clock today, the markets will be open, so you'll have to check that out for yourself if you like it. Don't use the calculator here. Remember, guys, this does not work on shares. Everything BUT but shares, it's fine. Don't use it for shares. The shares are completely different. Well, completely different. They are different, and you need the Excel risk calculator on your LMS when you log in. The quicker way of doing it is basically take the stop loss away from entry, and that's your risk per share. Maybe put a few cents on top to cover your costs aren't that high to cover costs. So it's 11.25. Make it a straight $12 per share as your risk. Simple as that with 200 Rand. Oh, that's all clear. Okay. Right. Any questions, guys? Anything you want to go over? What's the time? Yeah, another 5 minutes. Anything you want to go over? Oh, thanks, Vikesh. I just noticed that, Vicky. Yeah, thank you very much. I've managed to find the end anyway. Thanks for speeding it up. Just notes on the WhatsApp there. Okay. Anything you want to clarify? Last few minutes. Daryl, you still there? Yes, you are. Cool. Thank you. No thanks. See you at 4, Anna Marie. Daryl, you good? Or you're too bewildered? Don't worry about it. The more you attend, the less bewildered you become. So, any questions? Anything you'd just like to sort of clarify? Anything like that, guys? Is that right, LeBron? You see, the trouble is there's thousands of people and only 2 or 3 tech guys, so that can be a bit of an issue. I don't quite know how to load it myself. If I was more of a tech, I'd give you the formula, but I had it. I just went to Tech for Me, and they did it for me. So I just handed over. I'm sorry, it's a hassle. I totally get you, but I think you just have to just keep pursuing it. Don't want to be rude. When anyone says I'll get back to you, it usually means, well, we shall see. But you probably have to continue to push you for it. Okay. Okay, that's fine too. So not a problem with that. As long as you're picking stuff up, learning the operative word. Okay. See you at 4. So attend the Zoom at 1 p.m. for micro. Very important, yeah. If you can do that, Daryl, be there at 1. Okay. Good enough. Okay, guys, I think that's about it. Going forward, cheers, guys. And yeah, catch you later on, either at 1 to 2 on the micro discussion or at 4 o'clock on the trading meeting. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.